Alright, so boom. I'm not sure if you heard the news or not, but allow me to be your TMZ, ESPN, if you will. The XFL has since suspended operations, laying off all of their employees, have no plans to return in 2021. So, long story short, the XFL is now defunct for the second time in 2 decades, and I, for one, am not happy about it because I had not only high expectations for the XFL, I think they actually did things right this time around and had a pretty good reception. They were averaging over 20,000 fans in arenas around the country in damn near consistent basis since the start of week 1, and I think they concluded in week 5, and then COVID-19 came out, and once they had to suspend them having games and waiting and postponing until things died down, that pretty much led the league into a downward spiral to where you could not recover. This is not the same case of the AAF where they were struggling with on-field product. If you watch the XFL or you go back and watch highlights or full games of the XFL, watching highlights can actually get things misconstrued. Go back and watch full games of the XFL. The pace of the game, the production of the game, the on-the-field, actual play of the players was far and beyond better than the AAF. The XFL actually had a pretty good product to where I'm pretty sure guys who weren't good enough to really cut it in a Division I college or make it to a pretty good Division II college, they had an avenue to go to the XFL to really showcase their skills. Another thing that really I'm really disappointed about, the XFL terminating operations is for those kids who need money almost immediately. Similar to what happened in the NBA with people having to come out of high school because if you're good enough to make it to the league and you can get signed, what's the purpose of going another year in college and possibly leading to an injury? So similar to guys in high school who don't really want to go to college and feel as if they're groomed enough to play professionally, you could have went to the XFL and had an opportunity to get paid immediately. You're not making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars you'd be making in the NFL, because hell, you wouldn't even be able to make that straight out of high school. You got to go to college. This was now a different avenue that players could have taken. Because let's just be honest, not everybody needs to go to college. There's some job fields that you don't need to go and get a degree for. You can just get a certification somewhere independently and then go into the workforce. So it's not essential for you to go to college. So some of these guys who are playing in the league or hell, playing in the XFL, for all intents and purposes, they really don't have to go to college to get the exposure. So the XFL could have been a whole different avenue. So there's a ton of children who are now, transitioning through adolescence, now miss another opportunity because the XFL was on television and you were getting paid upwards of, I think, $50,000 over that to just go out there and play football, man. And this is unfortunate. It truly is. Because once again, you see a league get shut down, but this time not because of funding, because the XFL had the money. Not because of television rights and all this other stuff, because the Fox was averaging 2 million views, I think, every single game they put on. The XFL, not only were they getting over 20,000 people in the arenas, like I pointed out, they were getting people viewing at home. It's not as if the XFL was just something that was on and people weren't watching. There were eyeballs on the league. So this really sucks, man. And I wish there was more details as to why they ended up suspending all of the operations. But I think it all stems from the COVID-19 and now having to put a pause on things. And you can see how much this virus really did affect, the world and different people's corporations and organizations, because it's shut down. Leagues haven't started. Different sort of companies had to suspend a ton of stuff. People are losing a lot of money. Stocks are plummeting. This is just a clusterfuck of a situation, and it truly is unfortunate for the XFL, but I'll say this much, at least we got to see some of the players get a second chance. Guys who failed in the NFL came into the XFL. Some thrived, some failed. You saw the Landry Jones experience, that failed. The Cardell Jones experience started well, that failed. And you saw guys who had missed opportunities then flourish like a PJ Walker, who now got signed and he's going to be in Carolina. You saw 5 other XFL players, I believe, get signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think in total, you had about like maybe between 10 and 15 XFL players who got signed. It could possibly be more. So this was an opportunity for a lot of people to really revitalize their careers. Some took advantage of the opportunity. Others squandered their opportunity. And there are probably some who was waiting on later on in the season when they finally got their legs under them. Unfortunately, you know, it was only 5 weeks that you got to play, but they could have made some noise late in the season and possibly got signed to go somewhere. So this truly is unfortunate, man. I'm disappointed that it did end up folding. I'm hoping maybe after all of this passes, McMahon will change his mind and want to get things going again, because for all intents and purposes, like I said, man, things were off to a very good start. It was off to a very good start. It wasn't like the AAF, where you had 2 very good weeks of football, and then from week 3 until week 8, the product just kept getting worse and worse and worse. The XFL was very good on the field. They were extremely innovative on the sideline, interviewing players after good plays, bad plays. You saw the personality of the coaches. You saw the personality of the players. The only downside, in my opinion, was really, the broadcasting of the play calling. But outside of that, you saw transparency in the officiating, the production and the sort of aerial shots that they would use, the different sort of angles that they would use. It was extremely, innovative. Hell, remember the suicide cam that the WWE used to use from above and the aerial shot on the field? God damn, phone always going on. People always hit me up when I'm recording. But, with that shot, when they started in 2001, the NFL didn't even implement that. They got that idea from the original XFL. So who's to say the NFL won't just rip off some of the great ideas that the XFL came out with once again to improve their own product as this one fails? So all in all, I'm disappointed, but it was a hell of a run for 5 weeks. They did it the right way this time. It was completely focused on football. There wasn't none of the outside sort of things that were happening or trying to incorporate WWE into it. It was its own independent product. And for 5 weeks, we thoroughly were entertained. So if we never get to see the XFL again, shout out to McMahon and all the people who were involved, because I enjoyed it for the 5 weeks that it lasted, at least this run. Let me know in the comment section what your guys' thoughts on the XFL now being defunct for a second time is. Leave your thoughts on how you enjoyed the experience. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And where do you think they should go from here? And are we ever going to see another football organization in the States that can be considered professional actually rival the NFL, or at least be a different sort of avenue? Because outside of the NFL, it's really just college football and semi-pro. Nobody takes semi-pro seriously. It's rare you see somebody in semi-pro go from semi-pro to the league. Usually it's people who failed in the league now find themselves in semi-pro. So, I don't know where to go from this, man. It's unfortunate. Rest in peace to the XFL. 2020, it was born, or I should say 2018, it was born, and it died in 2020. As The Undertaker would once say,
you will rest in peace.